notification just went out on my end. There we go. All right, so YouTube just sent out the notification. And I got the red bar on my end. And that means that we are live. We are back in the building. Yes. I'm going to wait for some people to roll up in here. And then I'm going to proceed with the podcast. But for those of y'all coming in, hello, how y'all doing? Oh, we got some people in the chat. We got some people in the chat. My man, the Don King of the tech space, Tech King Mike. What's up, man? How you doing? My dude, Zach Talk Tech is in the building. What's up, Zach? How you doing? Looks like we got 5 people on the cut. I know it's the holidays. Some people are probably out doing different things, but they can catch the replay or catch the audio only version. That is fine. I know I thought I was taking a break from making actual YouTube video, but that does not mean I'm taking a break from live streaming. So I am here today to put out a podcast, and that is what I plan on doing. So I'm gonna do this rant real quick. As the Jefe just regurgitated in the chat here, I'm taking days off from making videos. I'm not taking days off from doing live streams. I'm still here. I am still here. I am still live streaming. I'm just not doing dedicated video for a while. Oh, Josephine is in the cut. Hey, Josephine, how you doing? Woo! Yo, that's what I'm talking about. All right, so let me go ahead and get started. I know y'all probably got things y'all rather be doing, but hey, you all out here. I appreciate you guys being here. And that is what is up. Let me actually I need to hold on. Oh no, that's not gonna work. Can't do it that way either. Okay, whatever. All right, we'll get that in a minute. All right, so it's interesting. The iPhone is the most popular phone in the world, and everybody buys iPhones year over year. The iPhone has somewhat become a status symbol, or it was in years past, not so much anymore. But as the captain of Team Apple, I feel like iPhone needs to grow up. VypDrive, episode 34, start now. What's up, people? This your boy Viper, the man about tech, and welcome back to another episode of VypDrive. This is the podcast about tech, hosted by the man about tech. And I don't know how long we're going to be here. I'm probably going solo, coast to coast, for this particular podcast. Now, as I stated in my introduction, the iPhone is the most popular smartphone in the world. They are seen everywhere. People want to have iPhones, even though they're not the status symbol that they once were. iPhones are still they're just it. They are the it phone. They sell more than any other smartphone year over year. And iPhone is just doing business. It's just they're doing big business. Even though sales are on the decline year over year, iPhone is still the champ. That is what is going on. But I got complaints about iPhone. And I am the captain of Team Apple, but I got complaints about iPhone. And I got the same, I got the same complaints that I've had for a while now about iPhone, and they have yet to be addressed. And it looks like they won't be addressed with iOS 13 this year. So it looks like I'm going to have to wait yet another year for iOS 14 before Apple addresses my iPhone complaint. And that's basically this. It is time for the iPhone to grow the hell up. Now, what do I mean? When Steve Jobs originally introduced the iPhone back in 2007, he got on stage and said that the iPhone was a combination of a internet communicator, a telephone, and I forgot. I think it was a multimedia device, something like that, a music player, something like that. It was some form of like a music player, internet communicator, telephone, and that's how iPhone was born. So basically, when iPhone was originally unveiled back in 2007, it was a device for the average consumer. The iPhone was built for the average consumer. The iPhone was not built for the hardcore techies. It was marketed to the mass consumer. Basically, Apple wanted anybody and everybody to have an iPhone. They didn't want to make it too difficult. I mean, for years, the tagline of iPhone was "It just works." And to this day, it still just works. I mean, they've added some slight complications into iOS over the past 13 or so years have been alive and available, but it's still at its core an iPhone. But the problem that I have is that even though the iPhone is for the average consumer, and that's fine, number one, Apple is losing iPhone sales year over year because at its core, the iPhone is still the same device year over year. Like, you still get the same basic core functionality out of iPhone every year, and that's part of the problem. The problem that I have is that the iPhone is not for a prosumer or professionals or people to get actual real work done on iPhone. You can do it, yeah, but it's really, really difficult to get like pro level work done on an iPhone. Now, when I'm talking about this, I'm basically looking at the Samsung Galaxy Note 10 Plus and the Note series of phones. Those are core productivity devices. They have all types of pro features that make them be able to produce more for the average consumer, more for the prosumer. The Galaxy Note line of phones is the pinnacle of productivity on a smartphone. Now, some of you might be saying, Viper, the Note phones are usually bigger than iPhone. And while that was true in years past, last year, the iPhone XS Max was bigger than the Galaxy Note 9 by 0.1 inches. The XS Max was 6.5 inches. The Note 4, or the Note 9, excuse me, was 6.4 inches. So the iPhone was actually the bigger device. But the problem with that iPhone XS Max, which I have lamented time and time again, is that Apple completely wasted the extra real estate on that iPhone. It completely wasted. You can't do anything to take advantage of it. It's terrible. Now, over on the Samsung side of the ledger with the Galaxy Note devices, they have a feature called multi-window. And with multi-window, you can run two apps side by side at the same time. You cannot do this on iPhone. Now, some people will say, well, that's not a part of the iOS feature set, blah, 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 blah. That's a bunch of garbage, though, because you can do it on iPad. Yes, this functionality, this side-by-side app functionality is available on iPad, but for whatever reason, Apple has not added it to the functionality of iOS on iPhone. I don't understand. We have had iPhone Plus models in existence for 5 years, and none of them actually have true core multitasking. I do not want to hear about app switching being multitasking. Switching from app to app is not multitasking. It is simply app switching. That is not going to allow me to get extra productivity out of my iPhone. The only thing that does is allow me to go from YouTube to Facebook and back to YouTube again. It does nothing else. I can't use YouTube and Facebook at the same time like I can on a Samsung Galaxy Note or Samsung device in general. I need actual multitasking, actual productivity features that make the iPhone more than what it is. Because right now it's lagging thoroughly behind in productivity features and functionality. It's not there. It's the same iPhone we've been using for 10 years. Can the iPhone please grow up? Apple, it's time for the iPhone to grow up. I mean, this is craziness to me. I mean, Samsung even has features that they have like floating apps where you can like be using one app in the system and have like another app as a floating bubble in the system. So if you want to go back to that app, you can do that. Even stuff like that. And like I said, once again, it's not that Apple can't do it because they have assistive features that in iPhone and iOS, you can use like a floating bubble in the iOS operating system to act as a home button and do other functions and things like that. So it's not like they can't add extra productivity to that functionality because it already exists in iOS, but it doesn't really do anything besides act as a home button or serve as another function, whatever you want to do it. But again, that's not core productivity. That's not multitasking as it could exist on iPhone. The real thing, well, not the real thing, but the other problem that I have, which just boggles my mind to this day with iPhone, is the lack of picture-in-picture. Which makes no sense because obviously you can play videos on iPhone. You got the YouTube app, you got Safari, you have video playback functionality on the iPhone. But for whatever reason, you cannot get picture-in-picture on iPhone. I cannot play a video on iPhone and then surf the rest of iOS and do something else. Like I can't be watching a YouTube video on my iPhone and then go scroll Twitter. I can't do that. Why can I not do that? Why does that functionality not exist on iPhone? I don't get it. Again, it's not like it can't be done on iOS because once again, this functionality exists on iPad. iPad has picture-in-picture, albeit it only exists in Safari, but it still exists. I could be watching the video in Safari, minimize that window down, and still be watching that same video while I'm surfing YouTube or surfing the browser or whatever, or surfing Twitter. That functionality exists on iPad. But again, for whatever reason, it's not built into iPhone. It hasn't been built into iPhone. And I'm trying to struggle and understand why. Why? What is the hold up? What are you trying to do? It just boggled my mind. And like I said, the cool thing about when I do these live streams on YouTube is that I am doing these live podcasts, under a live audience. So right now I got 14 people watching this podcast. One of my guys, LeBaron Burton, he's in the chat. Shout out to LeBaron. And he said that, do you really think this is about to happen under a guy who doesn't know product? LeBaron, that's my problem, LeBaron. It's already happening. It's on the iPad. There's no excuse, LeBaron. This functionality that I'm talking about that iPhone should adopt, it exists on iPad. It is all the same operating system. iOS is iOS, no matter if it's on iPhone or iPad. There is no reason why this functionality cannot be moved on to iPhone. They all run iOS. I don't understand it. That's not an excuse. That's not an excuse, LeBaron. It's just a lack of foresight by Apple or just a lack of want to. I tend to believe it's more of a lack of want to, because I think I believe that Apple wants to keep some core features exclusive to iPad, which is mind-boggling to me, because the iPhone is the breadwinner. It would seem to me that you want to put your best features on iPhone and not iPad. If you want to lure people somewhere, you want to lure them to iPhone, because I think Apple makes more money on iPhones than they do iPads anyway, or something like that. I think. I'm not sure, but it boggled me. I don't get it. Like I said, like the title of the podcast states tonight, it is time for the iPhone to grow up. You are losing sales on iPhones year over year because you are bringing nothing new to the table. So I'm going to take a quick drink real quick here. That's funny. And let's talk about what's coming to this year's iPhone, the iPhone 11. Now, right now, we don't know what features are coming to iPhone 11, but we do have some idea of the functionality of iOS 13 as it will act on iPhone 11. The biggest adaptation to iOS 13 this year, you all, is dark mode. Dark mode. That is it. I love me some dark mode as much as the next person, but how does that improve the quality of my use of my iPhone? Unless I'm trying to make things easier on my eyes and I just don't want the brightness of the iPhone, which I can already turn the brightness down anyway. Dark mode does little to nothing to improve the use of my iPhone. It's nothing. It's aesthetic. It is an aesthetic change. It is not a productivity change. It is an aesthetic change. And that does nothing for me as far as getting more productivity out of my iPhone. Dark mode is not it. Now, if we talk about hardware coming on the iPhone 11, actually, let me back up real quick. So this year, we're slated to get 3 iPhones. We're going to get an iPhone 11, which will have 2 cameras on the back. The iPhone Pro, or the iPhone 11 Pro, which will have a 3-camera system on the back. And then the iPhone 11 Pro Max, which will also have 3 camera lenses on the back. Now, the rumors are stating that the 3rd camera lens added to iPhone this year is going to be an ultra wide angle lens, which is fine. It's long overdue on iPhone, and it might improve the functionality of the phone a little bit, but that doesn't really go anywhere for me with multitasking and productivity. The things that I'm talking about that Apple needs to implement on iPhone are more software driven. They're not really hardware. So the hardware that is coming on the iPhone 11 Pro doesn't really impact how Apple can change productivity on actual iPhone. These are things they need to tweak with software. They need to go into iOS and enable these things, because as I keep saying in this podcast, there is no reason why I should not have picture-in-picture on iPhone when it exists on iPad. There is no reason why I shouldn't have multi-window, split app view, or a side-by-side app view on iPhone when there exists on iPad. It's already in the system. iOS is the same on iPhone and iPad. It's just slightly optimized differently now for iPad since they separated it into iPad OS. But it's still the same operating system at its core. There is no reason why Apple can't incorporate that functionality on iPhone. It's just that they don't want to do it for whatever reason. I guess they feel like it might cannibalize iPad sales if they give iPhones that functionality, which I don't think it to be true, because the iPhone is not an iPad. The iPad is a much bigger display, a much bigger canvas. The iPad is meant for maximum productivity, maximum viewing. It's just, it has a different purpose than an iPhone. Even if they added these productivity features to the iPhone, it doesn't really take away from iPad. The iPad has its own purpose in the ecosystem. The iPhone has its own purpose in the ecosystem. But it is time for the iPhone to grow up and become more of a productivity monster. It is really egregious that iPhone CPUs outperform Android CPUs year over year, but they're handicapped by the lack of software on them. Last year, we had the A12 Bionic chip on iPhone XS and XS Max and things like that. They outperformed the Snapdragon 845 last year, but most Android phones have many more features and functionality than those iPhones did of last year. Why? It's clear that the iPhones have the computing ability to handle these tasks and features. So why do they not exist on iPhone? The iPhone has more than enough computing power to handle multitasking and increase productivity functionality, but it does not exist. And I'm just left mind-boggled as to why. Why are these things not present on iPhone? It makes no sense. It's inexcusable. And every year that Apple just neglects this thing to iPhones, they just fall that much further and further behind their Android counterparts. Ugh, it's mind-boggling. I don't understand. I don't understand, man. Oh my goodness, what is going on? I don't know, man. It's frustrating because I'm the captain of Team Apple. I prefer iOS as my preferred operating system platform. I prefer using an iPhone, but I'm using my Note 10 Plus more, but it's because it's more of a joy to use right now. It has more features and functionality right now. I can watch YouTube and surf Twitter on my Note 10. I can't do that on my iPhone. That pulls me closer to my Note 10. Now, I'm not about to switch over to the Note 10 full time because, as I argue vehemently this weekend, the ecosystem is still undefeated. The way Apple products work together cannot be messed with by anybody or any other operating system. But that does not mean they are not without fault. This lack of productivity is a fault. It is an absolute fault. So again, we got people in the live chat. We got Tim R. And Tim says that he thinks it has to do with battery life. They won't add it until they can do something without sacrificing battery life. But yes, it's way past time. Oh, no. That argument is out the window. Like I said, we've had plus-size iPhones for 5 years. Over the past 5 years, they should have been figured out how to deal with battery life and adding productivity to iPhones. That is not an excuse. That is garbage. With all due respect, Tim, you are the man. I respect your opinion, but that is a lame excuse for Apple. 5 years in, 5 years of plus-size iPhones, and it still has not happened. They should have been figured it out. What is really going on at the spaceship in Cupertino? I want to know. I need answers. This is crap. Oh, my goodness. Whoo, Lord have mercy. Like I said before, the iPhones have the computing power. They have the functionality built into iOS, although they only use that functionality for iPad for whatever reason. There's no reason why iPhone can't be more productive. The features and functionality are already built into iOS via iPad. Just transfer them over to iPhone and be done with it. So we have my man LeBaron Burton, who is very opinionated about Tim Cook as the CEO as a whole. And LeBaron is saying that Tim Cook doesn't want the iPhone to be productive. iPad must be an accessory to the iPhone. Welcome to the curse of the ecosystem. You got to pay to stay in it. That again, dude, that is lame. Like that is lame. Although at least I could partially understand that, but it's still lame. That's a lame excuse for Apple. That is a lame. Because like I said, that adding that functionality to iPhone does not hurt the ecosystem because the iPad has its own separate purpose in the ecosystem. Like I have a bunch of books on my iPad. If I want to read books, I'm using my iPad to read books. I'm not using my iPhone to read books. That is one of the purposes of having an iPad. If I want to read books digitally, I'm going to read those books on the iPad. If I want to watch media, if I want to consume media, I'm going to consume media on my iPad. That is the purpose of the iPad. It's a bigger device, a bigger display. I'm going to do those things on my iPad because it's better done on an iPad. And I understand that some of these things that I'm talking about bringing to iPhone are better done on better served on the iPad. But that does not mean that they should only exist on an iPad. It seems like lately Apple has been about giving consumers options. Started last year with the iPhone XR. That was a new option that iPhone customers had never had before, a lower budget by Apple standards, budget entry-level iPhone option that didn't exist before. But Apple gave consumers that option. They can give consumers more options with iPhone in terms of more productivity features and functionality at least on the bigger iPhone. If you don't do it on the little iPhone, at least include it on the bigger iPhone. Hell, you could have that as an exclusivity feature to get people to buy bigger iPhones. Because there should be more reason to buy an iPhone Pro Max besides it having a bigger screen and a bigger battery. You need more reasons than that. That's not enough anymore. That is garbage. The bigger iPhone should come with more features and functionality to justify their price tag. The iPhone 11 Pro Max will probably start at $1,100 this year. I need some justification for that price. Right now, I don't have it. Apple's not giving me nothing. They need to, like I said, the iPhone needs to grow up. So we got my man, Mediocre Tech, in the chat. He's saying that he agreed that split screen is long overdue for iPhone, but I love all the high-quality third-party productivity apps on the iPhone. And that's nice that there are some third-party productivity apps on iPhone. That is absolutely nice. But there's nothing quite like a built-in first-party native solution from Apple to provide that functionality on iPhone. I mean, Apple still features from everybody else. Why they can't steal productivity? I mean, like I said, it's already built into iOS. It's already built into iPad. Productivity functionality is already built into iOS for the iPad. It's nothing more than sliding the code or reworking the code to put that functionality on an iPhone. This is not a magician trick. This is not wizardry. It's already been done. It's already out there. The code has already been written. It already exists in iOS. It's on iPad. Just bring it over to iPhone and be done with it. What is the holdup? Why can I not have picture-in-picture on iPhone? Why can I not have multi-window on iPhone when iPad has both of these features built into the operating system already? It's no excuse. None. It's no excuse for this crap. It's crap. For the 99th time in this podcast, the iPhone needs to grow up. Simple as that. If you want to get people excited about buying iPhones again, give us a reason. Because right now, we don't have it. And it seems like with the iPhone 11, we're not going to there's nothing that much to be excited about from what we know. Now, that doesn't mean Apple can't pull a rabbit out of the hat at the iPhone keynote in 2 weeks. But right now, from all the leaks and rumors that we know about iPhone 11, there's nothing too exciting happening with that device. But maybe, just maybe, if you add some features and functionality, some productivity features and functionality to at least the iPhone 11 Pro Max, now we got something to get excited for. Now we have a reason to shell out more. Now we have a reason for people to shell out more money for the more expensive iPhone. Now we're getting somewhere. Because right now we're getting nowhere. And it's terrible. is garbage. Absolute garbage. But it seems like for now, Apple is happy with the turn of events. It's crap. I don't like it, but that is the nature of the beast with iPhone features and functionality right now. It seems like they want to keep these things on iPad for whatever reason. They don't want to bring them to iPhone, maybe because they don't want to sacrifice the sales of iPhones, although you're already losing sales anyway, so what's the difference does it make? You're losing iPhone sales year over year anyway. You're not, I mean, I think we're past that point, Apple. We're past that point. It's time to grow up and make the iPhone more big boy. Time for the iPhone to put in big boy pants on and see what we got. It is time to get it in. It's time to make the iPhone a better device. You have been providing us the same experience year over year for the past 13 some odd years that iPhone's been in existence. It is time for a change. It is time for the iPhone to grow up. It is garbage. It's time for the iPhone to grow up. If you guys want to support the podcast monetarily, please consider buying me a coffee. The link has just been pasted in the chat. For those of you watching on the replay, if you're watching the replay, the link will be in the description of the YouTube video. If you guys are watching on audio only, the link will be in the show notes if you want to make a donation. Like I tell you guys all the time, it is not required, but it does help me out a lot. Help me to bring you guys better content and get the tech content moving forward. But as always, I appreciate you guys showing out and tuning into the podcast. I just wanted to come out here today because even though I thought I was going to take a few days off from YouTube and like doing regular videos, I still have to put the podcast out because I just can't sit back and do nothing. I mean, I'm just sitting here doing nothing. So I figured I will come out here today, put out a podcast because I thought I was going to try to put one out every Monday. So that's what I'm trying to do here. So that is where we're at. We are in iPhone season. Your boy Viper is about to show up a lot. You guys think I went hard for the Galaxy Note 10 coverage. iPhone season is here. Your boy about to go just as hard, if not harder, for the iPhone because I am the captain of Team Apple, and that is simply what I do. Shout out to my head of security, El Jefe, for throwing the Buy Me a Coffee link into the chat. I appreciate you, Jeff. Always rocking out with me. So we got Josh Hargret in the chat here. Josh said, totally agree. Tired of waiting so many years for something great. I'm done. I brought a Note 10 and not looking back. Damn. If that doesn't say everything that I need to say on this podcast, I don't know what is. Here's a guy who's a diehard Apple fan, diehard iOS fan. He got tired of waiting for Apple to add some functionality to the iPhone. What did he do? He went and brought a Note 10 and said, the hell with iPhone. I'm pretty sure he's not the only one. I have a Note 10, a Note 10 Plus. I'm not the only one that's going over to the Android side, or at the very least experimenting with the Android side, because Apple refuses to put more functionality into iPhone. You got the same damn boring ass row of grid of icons on iPhone, the same home screen, the same everything, the same functionality for the past 12 years. It's boring. It's time for a change, Apple. It's time to change up the iPhone. It's time to add some spice to the iPhone. Get it done. Like I said, it's not like they can't do it. The functionality already exists. It's already been written for iOS. It's on iPad. It's just not on iPhone. Why is it not on iPhone? It is past due for the iPhone to grow up and put in big boy pants on and provide us with more productivity features. We got people shooting movies on iPhone, for God's sake. Come on, man. We have people shooting movies on iPhone. Come on, Apple. Give us more productivity on the iPhone. Man, what is going on, bro? What is going on? Shout out to Exquisite Bliss in the chat. I see you, Exquisite. How you doing? Got Michael West out there too. Tech Lover Mama, how you doing? Sean Williams said he moved to Android and haven't looked back. Haven't picked up an iPhone in 6 months. Wow. Whoo. Oh my goodness. I'm telling you, Apple, it's time for the iPhone to grow up. People are getting tired of the same old, baby. People are getting tired of the same old stale flavor, Apple. You got to bring it. You got to bring it. It's not so much hardware. We are not in a hardware game anymore. We are in a software game. And it's time for you to add some prime software to the iPhone because right now it does not exist. It is the same stale old crap year in and year out, and people are getting fed up and tired of it. Whew, it is what it is. It is time to spice up the iPhone. The iPhone needs some Spice Girls in their life. I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Thank you guys for tuning into the podcast today. Happy Labor Day. It is September 1st. This is a holiday in America anyway. It is Labor Day. Thank you guys for listening to the podcast. I'm about to get up out of here and enjoy the rest of my day. I hope you guys do too. Like I said, if you want all the information that I alluded to in this podcast, link will be in the description. Link will be in the show notes for those of y'all listening on audio only. And that is that. But until the next time, people, this your boy Viper, the man about tech. You know where to find me. So come back for more.